Welcome back. The other day I was walking through the forest here on the Olympic Peninsula where I live in Washington State, and I came upon a large cedar tree that had recently been felled by a windstorm. And when it did, it fell across a trail that I and other people often use. Part of the tree had been cut away so that hikers and rangers and hunters could pass through. And I stopped in the gap and I inhaled the wonderful scent of that cedar tree. And then I began to notice its rings and start to inspect the rings. If I counted correctly, the tree was well over 90 years old. Have you ever looked at a tree like that? I did some quick historical math, and I found the ring when World War II began. And then I found the one when World War II ended. And then I found a ring when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And I found the one when I broke my arm falling from a quarter horse when it was racing. I found the one when my parents divorced. And I kept looking for the rings. I found the one when I think the moon landing happened. I definitely found the one when my firstborn son, Christopher, was born. And then I found the one with some tears. And I touched that ring when he had passed away at the age of 24 from a brain aneurysm. Put my hand on the base of that tree, and I touched that particular ring for quite a while. Then there was the ring when my daughter Katie gave birth to my first grandson, Brody. Then there was the ring when my second and third grandsons were born. Then just last year, clear at the outer edge of that tree, the ring when my granddaughter Livy was born. It was an experience, and that experience touched all of my senses. There was a breeze blowing through the tree. The tree smelled amazing. It was quiet other than the breeze. It was beautiful. All of those events and a whole lot more shaped me and shaped the world in which I live. And it struck me that this majestic cedar tree, while still standing just a few weeks ago, was at once 5 years old and 90 years old. The ring formed during its 5th year was still there and alive, as was the one formed during its 10th and 20th and 30th years. And then it occurs to me that you and I are like that in a way. I'm not 90. I might be able to see 70 from here, but I'm not 90. But in some ways, I'm still 8 years old. I don't act like I'm 8 or 13 or 18 or 30, but that person is still there. Hopefully I've weathered and I've matured and I've learned a thing or two, but I'm still all of those years and impressions and lessons and gifts and losses. It's all still there. My bark, so to speak, is thicker and more resistant to the stuff of childhood and the stuff of life, but all those rings are all still there. And I think this might be true of everyone that you know and everyone that you work with or argue with or love or loathe. Remembering this idea can help me have a great deal more patience with those that I lead and serve, and it also fuels a flame of respectful curiosity in me. And that, my friend, is one of the most valuable characteristics exhibited by every good and great leader that I know. They're all voraciously, humbly curious. You know the type? They stop, they stoop into your world, they stay there long enough to hear the 21-year-old and the 40-year-old at the same time. If you're frustrated with someone with whom you work or live, perhaps you'll be less so when you remember that he or she is in some really powerful ways still 22 or 11 or 6. It doesn't mean they haven't grown up. They've grown around. Maybe that board member who tests your patience, he's 60. And he's also 6. That teammate who gives up really easily has his fearful 9-year-old ring still alive. That new employee who won't stop talking, who's 36 and an insecure 16-year-old as well. When we're humbly curious about the people we're privileged to lead, and when we learn even a little bit about what shaped them at, say, 18 years old, we will be much, much more patient, compassionate, and perhaps even forgiving. When we dare them to be better, are we touching the core of who they are when we do that? So, my friend, lead firmly, lead steadily, but lead gently. They are more than what they present. They are more than their bark. A while ago, I was given a small piece of polished cedar, and I think it's about 10 or 12 inches in diameter, maybe an inch thick. Its rings are a reminder of this wonderful discovery. The experience on the trail that day will stay with me a long time. Perhaps the next time I see you, I will likely not only be admiring the bark that you present to the public eye, but I will be quietly curious about your other invisible living rings. So, get curious, my friend. It'll change how you lead. It'll change how you treat yourself. Leadership is hard, but it's sure worth it. Here's to you.